names who might be coming into the Premier League, just sort of ramp up the interest a little bit more. These are the names we've picked. Let's start with Gianluigi Donnarumma, mentioned him before the break.
Yep.
Dan, linked with Man United.
Yeah, I mean, this feels like it could go on for the next few weeks in terms of just speculation around Donnarumma's future, purely because, of course, PSG have signed Chevalier now. That's now confirmed and official. And Manchester United, I don't think we speak about this enough. You know, I think if we spoke about any other club, we'd be talking about how they're going into the season at this moment in time with question marks over their number one keeper not starting, in terms of Andre Onana still suffering with his injury. And Altay Bayindir showed last season he can deputise at times, wasn't always completely solid. And you also have Tom Heaton, who has played in pre-season as well. So for Manchester United, though, the focus is on departures, but I think this link with Donnarumma will continue until Andre Onana's status and fitness is really confirmed over the next week or so.
It's quite an unusual market opportunity to have a guy who was amazing in the Champions League for PSG, is an established Italian international, won the Euros with them, but PSG have brought in Luca Chevalier, see him as the long-term number one, and so Donnarumma, with a year left on his deal, is possibly surplus to requirements, which, again, is a running theme in the show. Football changes quickly, right?
Yeah.
So there is a genuine opportunity there. He's not without his flaws. He does make mistakes, sometimes in traffic, in set-piece situations. He's not great. Brilliant shot stopper. Right,
I think he's probably the best shot stopper in the world. Right, we've got to be quick now because we spent a lot of time on Donnarumma, 20 seconds on each. Nico Lopez, good fit for Spurs or not?
Yes, brilliant player, creative, does the defensive work as well, could fit into lots of different roles. I like him a lot.
Kingsley Coman, possibly to Al Nassr in Saudi Arabia. Did that surprise you?
No, because Bayern have been trying to shift him on to make space for other recruits. And Coman seems open to the move, so it could work for all parties.
His trophy collection is pretty impressive, though, isn't it?
Just a bit, and his CV with the clubs he's been at. Terrific player.
How about Evan Guessant? That's signed, sealed and delivered for Aston Villa. How excited should the Aston Villa fans be about him?
I've been banging the drum for Guessant on this show.
I know, that's why I asked you.
Really like him. Strong, mobile, has come on leaps and bounds in the last year at Nice. I think he's a terrific signing.
Guys, absolute pleasure. We got through a load today, didn't we? Loads of top loan situation. And how high is his stock still in Italy? Because that's obviously where he came from for Manchester United in the first place, scored a few goals out there.
I think it is still high. I think it's interesting as well, if you look at Joshua Zirkzee, for example, he's still quite highly rated in Italy. He was being linked with Juventus not that long ago. So players like Zirkzee and Højlund have done it in Italy, not over a long spell of time, but they have proven that they can score goals, make goals. And what he did at Atalanta was very impressive, and that's what caused United to move for him and spend so much money. In terms of Milan, their situation's really interesting because they brought in Santi Jimenez, the Mexican striker from Feyenoord, and you thought, right, he's set to be there for the next few years. There's talk of him being moved on even now, which I think is bizarre, quite frankly. There's talk of them not only moving for Højlund, but Dusan Vlahovic as well, who Juventus are desperate to get off their wage bill. And so if both of those were to come in, Milan suddenly wouldn't have room for Jimenez. So there does seem to be real interest. And I just wonder whether it'll end up being a loan with an obligation to buy something like that to give Milan a bit of room.
And just a quick word on Højlund. I mean, you also, even though he came out in pre-season and was adamant he wants to stay at United, against Fiorentina on Saturday, he was an unused substitute. Mason Mount started as a 9 instead of Højlund, and he didn't come off the bench whatsoever. So for Højlund now, I think he's getting an indication he's not part of Ruben Amorim's plans going forward. And I will go on about this for the whole window. It is a World Cup year. He needs to play football for his own international future to be at next summer's World Cup.
Well, he actually came on board before Ineos, didn't he, Højlund? So if he goes, is this a sign that Ruben Amorim is slowly getting together his kind of team, his kind of players?
Absolutely, and I think we can have a look at some of the players Manchester United have signed since Ineos have joined the club. And it's very interesting, the two positions that they haven't signed in, or their gaps in that team, are potentially the two that they might be looking at before